I once made a solemn vow that there were two areas of internet discourse that I would never touch. These two subjects are real-world politics and Star Wars. I've just done both. Welcome to my channel. So, Book of Boba Fett happened. I'm not gonna get into Book of Boba Fett here. The pain is too fresh. Pain isn't the right word. Boredom. The boredom is too fresh. How is it that Boba Fett riding a Rancor can have me falling asleep? It might have something to do with the fact that the previous 6 episodes did absolutely nothing for me to get invested in the character. This video's about Kenobi. If you want my thoughts on Book of Boba Fett, which, you know why, just go watch Fearless Productions' review of that series. I think he pretty much nailed it. Speaking of, in his review of the series, is that German? Anyway, Shaft said this.
And now I'm very concerned about the future of Star Wars live-action shows. Like, imagine if the fucking Obi Wan show is this boring and bad and nostalgia-heavy. I don't think my heart could take that.
Yeah, about that. Don't get me wrong, Obi-Wan is one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time, right after Luke, Anakin, and Elan Sleazebagano. His enigmatic wisdom fascinated me, his charm and bravado captivated me, and his inner depth and turmoil defenestrated me. By all accounts, a miniseries that dives into the character of the man behind the legendary Jedi Master should be perfect. But, could they have chosen a more boring time of his life to portray? By far, the biggest complaint people gave Book of Boba Fett is that aside from the flashbacks, Boba didn't really do anything. He let other people fight all his battles and then just showed up to say,
I am Boba Fett.
I am Boba Fett.
I am Boba Fett.
Misako Jaja Binks.
World-renowned author Brandon Sanderson teaches that there are 3 main scales that characters tend to fall on, and where the characters fall on these scales can help determine whether they will resonate with the audience. The 3 scales are relatability, proactivity, and competence. Most people's favorite characters are generally high on one or more of these scales. The higher the character is on one of these scales, the lower they tend to be on others. Basically, if your character doesn't actively drive the plot of the story, you'd better make pretty well sure they're relatable. I think a big reason why the new Boba Fett didn't resonate with people is because these are his scales for the entire run of the show. If we had seen Boba being proactive against the Pikes rather than just waiting around, or if he had maybe, won any fight before the finale, it's possible that the audience would have received him better. The only thing he's got left is relatability. Guys, let me know in the comments. Have you ever been cloned from a warrior who was decapitated in front of you, taken his place as the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy, gotten swallowed by a living sinkhole in the desert, then murdered a mob boss to take over his territory? Because personally, I can only say yes to like half of those things. So how does this relate to the Kenobi show? Obi-Wan is pretty competent, I'll give him that. However, he is currently on the run from a galactic government due to his very existence being illegal. So unless the writers want to take the Empire to a completely new level of inability, we're probably not going to see him using many of his skills. And the same probably goes for proactivity. It's hard to drive the plot when you have a galactic kill-on-sight order. So just like Boba, all that's left for Obi-Wan is his relatability. I don't know, it's possible that they're planning something really avant-garde that subverts these guidelines in an extremely fun way. But after Mandalorian and Boba Fett, I feel like I can tell you exactly how Kenobi's gonna play out. We'll get 3 or 4 episodes of Oldie-Wan sitting in a cave, with the only interesting parts being told through flashbacks. Then halfway through the season, Kid Luke will show up to keep people coming back for more. A local gang or some space pirates will come and try to take the moisture farm, and Obi-Wan will save them, possibly by recruiting some deep cuts from Mos Eisley. Through an incredibly unsatisfying power nerf, he'll be about to fail, then Luke will use his hidden force powers and save the day. Cue Chosen One vibes, cue Uncle Owen vowing to keep Luke away from Obi-Wan, cue Jabba's. And these scenes will be about a completely unrelated character taking up 2 episodes out of the whole season. It's either that or they break 50-year-old canon to have Ewan and Hayden in the same room before this scene. Which scenario do you think is more likely? Because at this point, they have haters on either side. And that's part of the problem. No matter what Disney does with the franchise, they can't win. Either they'll be heavily criticized for being boring, or they'll tell an original story that alienates the people who hold the original trilogy sacred. Look, I really, really hope I'm wrong about the Kenobi show. I sincerely hope that it's amazing and that it unites the fans in a way that only those 50 or so minutes of non-controversial Empire Strikes Back does. But another more realistic part of me recognizes that 6 years of toxic discourse from the fandom has made Disney really scared to branch out and tell stories that do new and exciting things with the characters. So they fall back on safe, self-contained stories that don't threaten the sacred Star Wars canon, with a heaping helping of fan service to help wash it down. Come to Disney, we've got Bo-Katan, even though she should be like 60 by now. The Darksaber, even though that implies Moff Gideon murdered Sabine. Hayden Christensen, even though the existence of these scenes means that he'll only appear in flashbacks or dream sequences. Real talk though, Hayden, you're an absolute king who knocked it out of the park. Please don't take the inevitable hate this show will get to heart. I swear, if any of you makes him retire from acting again, I will personally make you go home and rethink your life. See, this is what I hate about Star Wars discourse. I love Star Wars. It's one of the main reasons I wanted to become a storyteller. Each and every movie is near and dear to my heart. Even that one. I don't criticize the franchise because I dislike these movies. I criticize them because I love them and want to see them become the best they can be. But I just know that this video will get lost among all the 3-hour hate marathons made by hyperfixated adult children who use Mary Sue arguments to justify their closeted sexism. Can you tell what my least favorite group of people is? I'll give you a hint, I've been one of them for the past 2 decades. I don't know, what is the point of this video? Am I just a pessimist? Am I making a world a better place by predicting that a long-awaited piece of media featuring fan-favorite characters portrayed by universally beloved actors will be dead on arrival? This is what the fandom has turned me into. This is why I don't go on Twitter anymore. So what's the point? That's a really good question. People are 100% entitled to their opinions, but maybe just when it releases and it doesn't meet all of your expectations, try to focus on the good parts and the fact that we're getting more Star Wars content, rather than just feeding into the endless soul-sucking void of hatred for anything that isn't Chewbacca. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go play Lego Star Wars. It's called self-care, and in this house we support it. I'll see you later. Hey, I'm glad you watched this video all the way to the end. I know there aren't any other videos on my channel right now, but I've got a long list of storytelling topics I want to discuss, so if you want to subscribe, YouTube will let you know when I've gotten around to making them. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.